Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Stephanie Liu, and welcome to a new episode of Digital Confetti, where we teach you repurposing strategies to sprinkle your content all over the internet so people can find out how amazing you are. So, P.S. by the way, today's show we are talking about 3 reasons why you should repurpose your live stream into Facebook ads. Because here's the thing, many live streamers are using Facebook Live as a way to get their message out, whether it's for personal or professional reasons, and with good reason. Live streaming is one of the most engaging types of content out there on social media, but how do you make your show even more effective? The answer is by structuring it for Facebook ads. You've heard me talk about run of show plenty of times, and I'm super excited to have my guest on the show today because we're going to dive into how you can level up your live stream. So here's the thing. Live streamers can use Facebook ads to promote their live content to a wider audience and target specific groups of people, including brands that they want to work with. Hint, hint. So in this episode, you'll discover why countdown timers are killing conversions, how to grab attention with titles. And I'm telling you, you're going to get pro tips from a Facebook ad expert who's pretty much the conversion queen. Yes, I've dubbed her that. Plus, you'll also get 3 must-have run-of-show segments every live streamer needs. This is something for those of you that have the video script maker. This is going to be very, very helpful for you to have. So having said that, if you're just tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in beautiful, sunny San Diego. Today, we're talking about 3 reasons to repurpose your live stream for Facebook ads. Now, let me tell you about the wonderful guests that I have here. Oh, yes. And yes, we're doing purple today. We're having a little fun on Digital Confetti. Yes, we're having so fun. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me do this because it's been a while since I've actually had this on here. All right, so let me tell you about this amazing, beautiful guest of mine. Amanda Robinson is the digital gal. She is widely recognized in the digital marketing industry for her knowledge, her training, skills, and coaching as a Facebook ads expert with her Swift Kick in the Ads membership. Let me say that again, Swift Kick in the Ads. This is such a clever name because that's how smart she is. Plus, she also has this massive creativity when it comes to chatbots. She's an author. She's the co-author of The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing, right? She's an international speaker, friends. She's all over the globe. She's one of my favorite people. Consultant, educator. She's taught thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs the foundational skills of Facebook ads. She brings a lot of personality and passion and pink to live streams and Facebook ads. So having said that, let's go ahead and bring on my girl. Hey, hey.
Hi. My goodness, Stephanie, that was an awesome intro. I'm like, as you're saying it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot behind the scenes here.
Yeah, girl, you are just a major, major kick-ass person. Obviously, I'm like, I could say it now because it's on the show.
A major kick ads person, right?
Major kick ads person. Yes, that's very true. Shout out to Chef Claudia Sandoval from MasterChef Latino. She is here live. We've got folks tuning in from Santa Cruz, California. We've got Phoenix. Buckinghamshire is here. Wow.
I see we have some Manitoba, Canada in the house. Whoop, whoop. I'm over in Victoria, British Columbia right now.
That's right. And hey, this is actually my first time using the chat overlay in Restream. So if you guys look over there, there's like comments over there. So I'll keep an eye on that and make sure that y'all behave, okay? All right. So Amanda, you have your own show too right now, right? Tell us a little bit about that first.
Okay, so I've got 2 live shows that I do. One is called What in the Ads is Going On, where I geek out on everything Facebook ads related. And then I've got the video marketing show, where I'm helping business owners understand how to use video in their marketing process, and specifically video for Facebook advertising. So those shows are definitely, one of them is a deep dive on the technical side. The other one is a little more overview on the video marketing side. So yeah, those are the 2 live shows.
You are everywhere and you are super duper talented. You got a membership, you got all the things. You're just kicking butt. Hey, you know what? Shout out to Demetrius from Cyprus who is tuning in. He's so funny because he left another comment. I don't know why Restream isn't showing his name, but it's like, it's me, it's Demetrius. I'm like, of course, you're our viewer in Cyprus. That's how I know. All right. So friends, we've been talking for weeks about Facebook Live or just live streaming in general and how to repurpose your content and sprinkle it all across the internet. And I find that most personal brands or even entrepreneurs and brands, they leverage live streaming because eventually they want to build rapport with their audience and convert browsers into buyers, right? And so this is why I brought on the Facebook marketing expert, the digital gal, because I know that you talk the talk and you walk the walk.
I do.
And it was funny, you guys, because when I had reached out to her and I said, hey, what can we talk about? What was the first thing that she said to me? She said, oh, let's talk about how countdown timers are killing your conversions. And I was like, oh, ring the alarm.
This is a
So
bit of a controversial topic, isn't it? Among
it
live streamers.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
I've
was a little
I've
nervous. I was a little nervous to, you know, throw that out there because I don't want to, you know, pick a side and then be part of the argument, but I've got data behind it.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's one of those things you have to take into consideration. I don't think it's one of those blanket statements where you say never use a countdown timer.
Right.
I think for the purpose of you wanting to do Facebook ads, there's a time and a place of when to use that countdown timer. So tell us, like, what are your thoughts on countdown timers when it comes to running ads?
All right. So let me just give the little global overview here. When you're doing a live stream, if you are preparing that live stream, if you're preparing in advance, knowing that at one point you want to take this live stream and you want to repurpose it into ads, we're going to think about how much time do you have on your hands? Do you have time to go in and clip out the intro of that video before you go and use it for an ad? Do you have like how there's a lot of analytics that go into how well that live stream performed. So we'll get into that. But once it gets into the prep and how much time you want to be spending post production getting this into ads, for the most part, countdown timers aren't necessarily going to be helping you from an ads repurposing standpoint because people on the replay, they don't want to sit through. It's all about the scroll stopping, the attention grabbing. And if you have a countdown timer and if you have a live show that you've had the same countdown timer on every single time because you're waiting for live viewers to start popping on, you're waiting for it to circulate with the algorithm to get more live viewers. When we're looking at the amount of replay viewers you're going to get versus live viewers, you are catering the show all to the replay viewers. The live viewers are the icing on the cake. Everybody watching right now, you are like the magic that's happening right now on screen. We can talk to you, we can say hi. You are the energy that is driving this show. But the replay viewers are the ones that are going to benefit from you being here watching live and you interacting, and they're going to be the ones that are driving all the numbers with the analytics and the algorithm. So by having that countdown timer up front, you're just putting a giant barrier in front of everybody that you either have to go and clip out before you can use it into ads. And I'll tell you, if you're doing weekly shows and you want to build an advertising system where you just slide another show in, turn your last show off on the ads and keep it running, you don't want that added time. So there's kind of the two sides to it. One is saving you time, and the other one is reducing that barrier that's going to prevent the replay viewers from actually getting into your content.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the comments are lighting up right now. I've never asked people like what do you think about countdown timers? And let me just go through right now.
Wow.
Um it cracks me up. Here's Claudia. She was saying it's also just boring and we move on. I rather would have just missed that part. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting."
I would love
Um
to hear more of what the viewers think, because us as live streamers, we have opinions on whether to use a live countdown timer or not. But I really
yeah.
do want to get an idea of what people think. Because are you
Yeah.
going to, if you're catching live, are you going to actually sit on and wait for that countdown timer? You're like, ooh, somebody's getting live right now. I'm going to go and get myself a coffee. I'm going to go and finish this little email I was sending so that I can watch. Probably not. You're probably going, okay, well, and they're going to be on soon. If you already know that live streamer, that's the other part. If you already know that live streamer and you're like a Stephanie Lou super fan, yeah, you're going to hang out and you're going to wait for Stephanie to come on and you're going to be there and you're going to be excited and you're going to be all hyped up for this live stream. But when we're doing Facebook ads, generally in that purpose, your live streams are going out to a cold audience of people who don't know you yet. So they don't even know
Mhm.
you yet. It's not scroll stopping and you're not giving them any value in the first 3 seconds. 3 seconds that they are seeing your content. And we're going to show you some analytics and metrics to show why those 3 seconds count.
Oh, do you want to do that now?
Yeah,
Or
let's
you
do
want
it.
to go into the titles first? However way you want to do this, because I'm
Let's do
learning from you.
it.
We're all learning from you.
Let's check out some numbers. Let's do a quick screen share, check out some numbers, and then
Okay,
we can, and
cool.
then we don't have to last long in here.
Let's do
Um,
that.
all right, so those first 3 seconds count. We're in Facebook Creator Studio right now. If you want to check out, if you want to go a little bit deeper into Creator Studio to know how all these numbers count as a creator, you're going to want to go back and watch yesterday's live stream, the video marketing show. I went deep into Creator Studio for Facebook video. But what you need to know here is how long people are watching. So let's break it down a little bit here. If I go, let's break this a little bit further out, give us some more numbers here.
Yeah.
Update.
Can I just say that you are very brave to show your analytics? You know, it's like I not that many people do, or sometimes
Yeah.
they'll just gloss over it and they'll try to make their screen really blurry, but you're all like, I'll show you my numbers. So
I'll
like,
show
that's
him
cool.
because I'll show the reality that I'm not a big creator. I'm not a big name creator. I am a small business owner, just like the people that I'm teaching. So my numbers are probably more realistic to what other people might experience when they're looking in here.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at how long are people watching these videos, 3 seconds, 30K. Cool. And then
Yeah.
when we get to the 15-second mark, that drops. That drops right down to 6K. That's very normal though. So when we look at the analytics and numbers of how long people are watching video on Facebook, realistically getting people beyond that 3 second mark, that's your attention grabbing. So you can tell that if you're not putting in the effort into capturing that attention span right away, you've already lost them. And that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine if my video is circulating to 30,000 people and only 6,000 of them actually stop to watch for a minute for 15 seconds, and only 1,800 are getting into that 1 minute view. It's showing you the volume that you need. You actually really do need this volume of digital spread. So you need your digital confetti. You need the content spread to be able to capture that volume of attention span to get people into actually watching your content and consuming your content and then
Yeah.
engaging with you. Because I'll tell you that 1,800 people watching those 1 minute views, those are my people. Those are my
Yeah.
followers. And then I've got another little thing to show you here, another segment of Creator Studio, because we're going really right into the numbers here.
Yeah, damn.
Um,
I love it. I love it though.
love
You're like my numbers analytics girl, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh girl, that's my love language. Let's do
Yep.
this.
Yes.
Go for it.
So then we're looking at the number of minutes viewed. So minutes viewed is an important metric for you to be paying attention to for your live streams. So number one, we're trying to capture that attention span to get over that 3 second hump and then get them in past the 15 second mark and then get them to a 1 minute view. And then those 1 minute view, those minutes viewed, those count big time toward your live
Yeah.
video content. So then when we're talking about it through the lens of Facebook ads, this information is quite important to you because when you do a live stream and when you get to the end of that live stream, you want to check those minutes viewed and compare them against other live streams that you've done. And then you want to take the best content, the content that people are actually consuming, watching longer, higher volume of minutes, grab those and go and put that into your Facebook ads. So I always say don't try and move dead weight with ad budget. So if something isn't performing, don't go throw money at it. Try and reach more people to try and get it to perform. It's not going to work for you. Go and take the pieces that are performing.
You know, in Facebook ads, when you could target viewers that have watched like X amount of seconds of your video, are you able to determine like, is it the people that watched at the beginning, the middle, or the end? Because I loved it when you said that the 1,800 people that were at the very end that stayed longer are like your people. I was like, yeah. How do you get those people?
How do you get those people? That's what I would consider. I would call those people my warm audience.
Yeah.
And much as we're seeing, we're just scratching the surface on the numbers, the analytics, and the drop off that we see when it comes to video content. But from an ads perspective, if we were looking at this through Ads Manager, you're going to have different metrics. You're going to be able to see your 2 second views, 3 second views, 10 second views, 15 second views. Then we get 25% completion, 50%, I believe 75 and 95% completion. So those
Mhm.
are however many segments those are. Typically, we're going to get a 50% drop off at every single one of those checkpoints.
Yeah.
So when you look at getting people all the way through, so to answer your question, that 10 second view could have happened halfway through your live stream. So
Got
it's
it.
not necessarily from the beginning, but the view to completion or the percentage viewed is again, did they watch a 25% chunk of that video? But
Okay.
realistically, all of these views, again, the majority of those views are going to be taking place on the replay.
Okay,
So
pause. How many of you are actually looking at your, creator studio and your analytics? I mean, how many of you are pausing and be like, hey, I want to see how last week's show performed or the last one that I did? And really take into consideration, do I need to take out my countdown timer? Do I need to like whip in my intro a bit more? Like I know for even showrunner secrets from the set, I run like a 30-second video just to give me like a quick breather, but I still try to keep it engaging by every time someone comments, I'll flip it on the show so that they know that I'm not just, sipping on water, but I'm like, I'm still going to engage with you. And you could see your name pop up in the intro. And I found that to be very helpful. But, anyways, you guys let me know A, what do you think of countdown timers? B, are you looking at your analytics? Okay, because that's going to be very helpful. My mind is just like, wow, Canada. I call
sorry.
Amanda Canada.
That is my universal nickname from all of my American friends. So I'm like the one token Canadian that hangs out with the crew.
Yeah, Canada. Yeah. All right. So, what else do you want to show us in the creator dashboard?
I think we're good because I can go down the rabbit hole pretty hardcore on there, and that
Okay.
might take us away from the topic of today's conversation.
No, you're good. Okay, so if you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about 3 reasons why you want to repurpose your live stream into Facebook ads. We've talked about the hot debate between countdown timers, when to use them and when not to use them. And I think you and I both agree that if you plan on running Facebook ads for that specific live stream, tighten it up because the faster that you could actually engage with your audience, it's going to give that social proof. And when other people are tuning in, like, hey, we've got Demetrius from Cyprus, we've got New York City, we've got San Diego, Elliot, Claudia, that's,
Mr. Alton has entered the house.
and Mr. Alton has entered the building. Boom, 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 boom. So we've talked about that. We've also talked about your analytics. Are you taking a look at your analytics to see where your drop off is? You know what's also really interesting is that many live streamers who are trying to work with brands, when they create like their media kits, they only report on the first like number of viewers, but not like that 1,800 that we had talked about. So something interesting for those of you that are working with influencers. Having said that, we've talked about how important it is for you to have that hook, that intro that gets people to stop scrolling and really be there. So let's ask the Facebook ads expert, how do titles come into play?
Oh my
Let's talk
gosh, I'm
about
so
that.
glad you asked. So glad you asked. Because I'm learning this myself too as we go. All right, so your titles are crucially important. And I'm not a good copywriter. I don't claim to be. I'm an analytics and algorithm nerd. So when it comes to crafting really sassy copy, I mean, other than Swift kicking the ads, that's about as awesome as I can get.
Yeah.
But your titles are absolutely going to impact your analytics. So let's talk about, we were looking at the minutes viewed. So we were looking at, the number of 3-second views, number of 15-second views, and number of 1-minute views. Those 1-minute views are so important. And the number of overall minutes viewed in a live stream is going to be also equally important to how well that live stream is going to perform for you. And again, the whole reason we're trying to get these live streams to perform is we want to connect with our audience. We want to be able to create these relationships through the barrier of this screen and actually find our people. And they're out there. Yeah. So those minutes viewed are quite important. And in order to get those minutes viewed, you have to not only have that hook at the beginning, that scroll stopping interaction right at the very beginning of that live stream. So on the replay, people are like, oh, what's going on here? But you I just had a total loss of train of thought there. So the minutes viewed, really important. Oh, titles. There we go. Yeah. So your title is going to have a huge influence and huge impact on that. So if you have titles that aren't hooking people in addition to your scroll stopping visuals, then people are going to scroll along, or they're not
Yeah.
going to tune in. They're not going to put that on their calendar and go, oh, I'm going to tune into this. So grabbing titles that are in alignment with very hot topics right now, things that are extremely timely, people will make the time to tune in and pay more attention to you. But if the title isn't resonating with people and it's just meh, I could take it or I could leave it. I don't really know if this is important to me. I don't know, the title has to sell it. And those titles
Yeah.
I'm noticing are greatly influencing your overall minutes viewed. So if you have a really good, solid, catchy title, your overall minutes viewed are going to be significantly higher than if you have a blasé title.
So what are your tips then? Like, where do you find ideas for scroll stop? Yeah, Claudia just said. So what is a scroll stop? Ah! Scroll
Scroll stopping title.
stopping title. You know, I find that I pay attention a lot to Amazon book titles. Like I'll just go and like I'll check out books because I figured if the publisher and the editors already went through the several rounds of what titles to use, then I'm going to use that. As far as like other tools, isn't there like a BuzzSumo tool, like a headline analyzer?
I haven't even used any of the headline
Oh,
analyzers.
really?
No, but I know you and I are both using a really cool automation tool.
Yes, conversion.ai, which I spoke about in another show last week, but conversion.ai is so sick because it's artificial intelligence, and I just put in like the product name or like what's the gist of the show, and then like 3 bullet points about what the show is about, and then it'll give me like this sexy sassy title that I can use, and you could do different tones of voice. So I can have, Tony Stark, I could be witty, I could be amusing, I could create that FOMO effect, I could even like channel my inner Tony Robbins if I wanted to, or Gary Vaynerchuk. But I would love like your opinion on conversion.ai because I'm living in it. I always have a tab open, girl, and I'm just like, "Oh, you wanted a response? Let me put this in and see what Jarvis has to say."
So I got to give props over to Mike Vardy. Mike Vardy is the one that got me hooked on conversion.ai. And it's using artificial intelligence to take the little bits of information that you've given it, whether it's a sentence or a couple bullet points, like Stephanie said. And it goes through a whole artificial intelligence scrape. And it's scary. It is scary how accurate and how good it is. So tips on it though, really great for making titles, but you know me, I'm a Facebook ads girl. Take it with a grain of salt when you're making your Facebook ads, because Facebook ads have a lot of rules and regulations in place, and the titles that come back aren't always necessarily compliant with Facebook advertising.
Okay, drop that real quick because I know there are some things like you can't do like befores and afters or big claims. Like so I feel like some things that would work on YouTube like you must know this or something dreadful is absolutely going to
If it's
happen.
clickbaity, Facebook doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So where you'll get pinched on your titles is false claims. So if false claims, or if it sounds too much like multi-level marketing, or what else? If it triggers any of the special ad categories. So if you're making promises related to financials, finance, loans, credit, anything, like a lot of people will be like, save time and money, or make money, or you make $1 million, or this creator made $1 million using this system. Those
Yeah.
those things will trigger Facebook's AI system for the ad review system, and it makes it harder to get your ads approved. So catchy, really flashy, catchy, scroll stoppy titles are really cool. But if you're planning on using this for the purpose of repurposing it in Facebook ads at a later date, then you do have to keep your language pretty tight and avoid anything that might trigger the ad system for rejecting your ads. Oh,
That
and
is
don't
very
swear in
true.
your live streams. Don't swear in your live streams.
Which I've already did because
I
it was just,
know.
but it's okay. I'm not going to run ads for this. Here's, I've never heard this before. Spend your stimmy here, Timmy.
That's okay. I like that.
Okay. I never heard that. But this is what Amanda and I were talking about is conversion.ai. Girl, like I said, I've been using this nonstop, even just like brainstorming with Mike Alton yesterday about like, hey, what are some like blog topic ideas should we check out? And I go in here and I check out like video titles to create engaging, click worthy titles for your videos. And it's just, here's the one that I did, how to title your videos for more views in the tone of Gary Vaynerchuk. And then it just gives you automatic results over here. To your point though, as far as making sure that your titles aren't clickbaity, do you find yourself using the Facebook ad headline? Does that have you found that that actually goes and makes sure
I
that it's compliant with
no.
Facebook?
No, I truly haven't. I don't know how conversion.ai works on the back end, but I find that all of these, whether you're using it for a Facebook headline or whether you're using it just the general title box, it it just seems to pull the same stuff depending on
Yeah.
which bucket you're in. So I haven't used it enough in live ads. I've used it, it's kind of the same way as you. I use it for inspiration because I run everything through it, and then I take what it gives me and then I tweak that and run with that for ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that usually when I'm trying to come up with scroll scots.
I love how you can't say that on this. It's become like
What is
the
up
curse of this
today?
show.
Scroll stopping. Easy to say on a Friday. I like, you know what they always say? It's like some people copy, but some people will just like tweak the copy a little bit. I find looking at Owen Video's titles, because I know that he does the work.
Yeah.
And if I could just swap a word or two, then it would totally work out. Like it's okay. I would just turn it into a different direction, but I know that he's already done the research for it. So that's always going to be very helpful. Cool, 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 cool. If you guys have any other suggestions on like what tools you're using to come up with your titles, please go ahead and drop them in. I find myself, like I said, if there's an email, like sometimes Pat Flynn has some really great titles, or Marie Forleo. I'm like, ooh, swipe that, right? And I just add that into it. Or, sometimes you come across ads from Facebook ad experts like Amanda, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna jack that title right there.
Don't go. I'm not the gold standard. My clients are the gold standard. So I do everything gold standard for my clients. For me, sometimes I slack off a little bit.
We
The other
try
thing I
not to.
want to
Yeah.
mention on the title side, a lot of we're looking at all these AI tools and looking at all these other ways that we could be making these really scroll stopping awesome titles. But
You're
let's
just
be honest.
digging that into me. Scroll stopping. There, I said it.
You got it. You got it. But the other thing that us live streamers don't really talk about is we're also trying to cram our titles into creative. Like we have standard thumbnails that we're trying to make our titles fit into, and it's very
Yeah.
hard when you only have 4 words to play with, or 5 words max, to make it really work with your template, really be attention grabbing, scroll stopping, and have the biggest impact. uh, sorry, then it does actually skew. Like you could have the best title in the world and think, oh, this is it, this is the one, and then you try and make it work within your thumbnail creative
And then
template,
it doesn't.
and it doesn't, and then
Yeah.
you start changing the words around, and then you start whittling it down, and then it loses the same punchiness and connotation, and it gets
Yeah.
frustrating. Like these are the realities of the behind the scenes of what live streamers do.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people factor that in. Sometimes I find like live streamers at the beginning of their journey, they think mostly about the gear, right? Like the
Yeah.
lights, the stream decks, and all that other stuff. And then you ask them about analytics and then watch time, and they're like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you asking about that? And it's like, because there's a marketing aspect behind it, especially if you're repurposing your content. So that's going to be really helpful to have. Shout out to this Facebook user. Sorry, your name doesn't pop up. It says Marie Forleo teaches to write 100 versions of a title before you pick one. Love
I don't
that.
have time to make 100
No,
versions.
I would still use Jarvis. I would say Jarvis conversion.ai, because you could put how many outputs you want. I would say, fine, give me 100. I'm not gonna, I got stuff to do, but that's cool to know. Shout out to Kelly, who's saying this is great info. Yes, give it up for my girl. Amanda Robinson. Show her some love, give her some likes, because she's absolutely amazing. She's
Aw.
giving us pro tips as a Facebook ad experts for live streamers, because like I said, some of us just think about the gear, but we don't think about how to get the gears working up here, especially when it comes to marketing,
Yeah.
So that's going to be powerful.
Well, we want to
So
make
let's go for it.
we want to make the effort stretch, right? Just like digital confetti. We want to make sure that we're not recreating the wheel every single time. We want to be able to take the effort that we put in, because we put thought into the live streams, you put thought into the quality of content that goes into it, and then you don't want that energy to be just wasted effort. You want to be able to take that and have it carry on and live on. So
Live on.
there is intention behind it, but there does take, if you are going to be repurposing your live streams into Facebook ads at a later date, then your run of show might be a little bit different than shows where they're not going to be used for ads. So it doesn't really matter.
You are so good with the transitions, Miss Thang, because that leads us into our next bullet, which is what are the important elements of adding into your run of show if you plan on doing Facebook ads? Because as we mentioned before, there are certain things you want to add in your live stream just to make it fun and engaging. But when you're going to put paid media behind it, like money behind it, how do you make it worthwhile? And so what would be that first run of show element that you would recommend?
So my brain's going to skip around here because it might not go in perfect order. But the first important thing I want to mention is that if you are doing live streams, a lot of us have sponsors. Like for example, this show is sponsored by RESTREAM, and RESTREAM is what is allowing us to be live over on YouTube, over on Facebook, in different Facebook groups, and all sorts of wonderful areas. So definitely, if you haven't had the chance to go inside RESTREAM's studio, it's super user friendly, super easy. You need to go and check that out. Now, that's a promo. So I just gave you a little plug for the sponsor of the show. One of the hot tips is that a lot of us are going to drop those sponsor shout outs, but depending on where you structure them in that live stream, if you're going to be repurposing your live stream for Facebook ads, how you drop those shout outs, how you bring them in, how you position them is actually going to impact your watch times. And people are either going to tune in or tune out. And so you'll notice your watch times cruising on if you look at your analytics, which you should be looking at your analytics on how well things perform. But you'll notice there'll be certain times where you'll notice a complete drop off, where everybody just stopped paying attention, stopped watching. Go back, look at those numbers, see where that happened. Did it happen when you brought the sponsor shout out in? Yes. Okay, well, let's move that segment further back in the show. Let's make sure that you're dropping huge value first and then dropping your shout outs for the sponsor at a point where it's going to make more sense. So there is a little bit of strategy in behind that. So if you get right into the show, that's why for example, my shows, I do have a little video intro that I do. I don't roll that right away. I get into the show. You want to be able to capture attention, engage with people, make some eye contact, talk to the people in the comments because it is live. That's the beauty of having the ability to connect with people in a live environment. So you want to have that engagement and you want to be able to provide value early on and then have moments where you can talk about sponsors or change gears a little bit in your live stream. But if you're going to be repurposing it for ads, you want to keep that in mind for how you're structuring your run of show.
Yes. And so, because I always want to say Canada,
Call me Canada.
because
Everybody knows.
because because Amanda and I were both talking about this. She was like, Stephanie, well, what are your analytics? And I was like, well, Restream gives you analytics. And I don't think most people take that into consideration because, as you mentioned, we do go live in multiple places. And so if I were to share with you what happened in the last one, so this is Showrunner Secrets from the Set. From here, what you're saying is I could take a look and see where my peak viewers were.
I'm like so in love with your analytics. I want to be Stephanie Liu.
I want to be Luria Petrucci. Yeah. So you could see that like when the show first started, here's the viewers, and it peaked around this time, which is like 62. Mind you, Showrunner Secrets from the Set is really, it's nerdy and geeky. It's tutorials, just like this one too. But I think anywhere around here is pretty good if I wanted to mention like a shout out to the sponsor, right? I know that I wouldn't do it like in the first couple of minutes because it's still just warming people up.
Exactly.
Anything else that you would pay attention to as far as like the Restream analytics goes?
The Restream analytics are so beautiful. I really, really do love them. But
They're
you'll
pretty,
notice
aren't
like
they?
your graph looks very clean, very nice. You're actually holding attention span throughout the whole show. So other things that you do is that you'll sort of, if you want to use a clubhouse term, you'll reset the room often and let people know
That's true.
what we're learning, why we're here, and you'll keep those who have just tuned in at certain points. You'll keep them engaged. I guess also, I don't know if not a lot of people talk about this, but managing expectations when you're live streaming, the people who watch at the beginning of the show are not the people who are watching at the end of the show.
That
Same
is
with
very true.
the middle. Like you'll have peak live viewers, but Restream does a good job at giving you analytics on concurrent viewers. So you'll have 30 concurrent viewers, 10 concurrent viewers. So it's showing you at any one point in time how many people are tuning in live. And those numbers are going to change and not be the same. But what your graph looks beautiful. Not all of us have graphs that look like that. Some of us have graphs that look like they peak and then we have a drop off like a cliff. And you're like, oh, what happened there? And there's certain habits or things you might do on screen that you think are a really cool show segment, but
Yeah.
you might be completely turning off your audience and dropping your graph like a cliff. So just paying attention to those numbers will help you as a live streamer get better habits.
Got it. Got it. And then, so what else would you add into a run of show? I feel like when you're giving like knowing when to clearly shout out your sponsor, right? Definitely do your vocal warm-ups, scroll stopping,
Scroll stopping, scroll stopping, scroll stopping, scroll stopping, scroll stopping.
right? The other one too, I would say is whenever I've launched anything, especially when you and I were doing like the book launch, we would have like a designated person clearly communicate what the call to action
Yeah.
was. And so we would have like our graphics ready and have that loaded up and ready to go. And we knew that like when we were going to drop in like the sponsor or just like the main call to action, to have the right lower third there. Because there's nothing like leaving a comment on there that had nothing to do with that segment, and then you wanted to run it out. You're like, oh, why did I do that? That's not what I wanted to do.
Yes. So your call to actions are going to be very important throughout and keep them consistent. I am notoriously bad for this because I tell people in my live streams, I'm like, hey, you can get a free sticker if you go and interact with my bot on my Facebook page. Hey, go to thedigitalgal.com/contest to sign up for the email and then get a Kate Spade purse contest entry. And then, and then go over to swiftkickingtheads.com to sign up for the 4-week Facebook
You're
ads.
sending them everywhere.
And go to, thedigitalgal.com/restream. I'm like, I'm chucking out all sorts of links. It's terrible. It's not good. And yeah, it's the bot. It's the Bob bot girl. Oh my gosh, the comments. We've in my show yesterday, we've decided we're renaming my chat bot to Bob. It just happened live. I don't know. These things happen. Yeah. But yeah, a clear call to action, which I'm super guilty of not doing. Having having a very clear singular purpose for that live stream, that one overarching thing that you want people to accomplish. If they're watching that and they're only going to take one action, what action do you want them to do? And in my case, I'm telling them to do about 5 different actions and waiting for them to pick the one they want, which is not the way to go, but it's very important.
Interesting. Cool, 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 cool. The other one that I would say for like what's important to have in your run of show is especially if you're launching your product, I find that having an FAQ sections is always very helpful. And when you start off FAQs is always like, and you might be wondering about, and it's a good thing to wonder. So let's address those right now. And like even that is just a really amazing clip for you to have when you're repurposing your stuff. Anything else that you would add to that?
I think we've covered off the big chunks. It's the engagement is so important. So between engagement, your clear call to action, what else do we have in there? Engagement, clear call to action. Oh, watching where you're placing those sponsor shoutouts or major changes in the show tone or what you're doing in the show to watch for where you're going to hit those audience drop offs. But
Yeah. I would say the last one too is what you and I talked about in the beginning, which is your audience engagement. Because if you're going to put paid media behind it, right, then you want to show that there's actual social proof that people are really interested in what it is that you have to say. Because when they realize like, oh, my competitor just hopped into the comments, maybe I need to pay attention. Or if there's this other content creator that I'm trying to, mimic or follow in the footsteps of, then that's a really good opportunity to be a part of that. Here's a really good question from our good friend Joel, who's asking, do thumbnail titles need to match the video title? Could they be different but complementary? So I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I feel like you and I are both Facebook and some people are on YouTube. So what are your thoughts?
It's going to be quite different on YouTube. On Facebook, you've got a little more freedom. YouTube, that title really does, those thumbnails are what are selling the video. The titles aren't necessarily selling. Well, the title on YouTube is going to be playing heavily into where you rank in search, but those thumbnails are selling the video on YouTube. On Facebook, the thumbnails are basically your videos auto playing as soon as it comes in the feed.
Yeah,
So you're not really,
I don't even see the titles sometimes.
yeah, you sometimes you miss the title altogether, sometimes you miss the thumbnails altogether. So on Facebook, you've got more freedom to be able to have something that's complementary. Where I really use where the thumbnails come in most handy on Facebook is in the show scheduling. So if you schedule your show, you can only schedule a show up to 7 days in advance. But when you have that scheduled, having that visual be able to help sell. Your visuals typically aren't going to be all that scroll stopping. They just need to be clear so that when somebody takes an at a glance breeze over your content, they need to be able to take away from that knowing exactly what the content, like what is that show going to give me, what is it going to do for me. So if you can leverage your thumbnail in that scheduled post to be able to give that information at a glance, that's great. But so therefore it doesn't have to be identical to your other title. You can use them complementary, but yeah, you can play around with it.
One thing that I want to add about putting paid media behind your live stream that I learned the hard way when I first started live streaming was, how some people would have that like an overlay that would say, and here's my Facebook channel, and here's my LinkedIn, and here's my Twitter, and da-da. And I remember when I tried to put paid media behind it on Facebook ads, they were like, nope, you have a Facebook icon, and
Yes.
you can't use our branding in an ad. And I was like, I was just trying to promote I was just trying to grow my page. And I didn't even take that into consideration. And it sucked because at that point I had already done like maybe like 20 episodes or so far. And I realized, hey, now I want to put some paid media behind it. But then I couldn't do it. And this was before you could like do the video clipping
Mm-hmm.
of it. What are some other things that you see live streamers mentioning or dropping into their run of show that is getting them in trouble when it comes to the ad side of it? We've talked about like clickbaity things and claims.
Yeah. So think about it this way: on your live stream, Facebook has live captions. So if you're watching this on mobile, you can probably see everything that we're saying live, actually captioned. So Facebook is transcripting and reading everything that you are saying on camera, and what you're saying on camera. If you're going to be repurposing this and using it in an ad, everything you say has to be compliant with Facebook's ads policies. So if you are, in a multi-level marketing group, and there's some lots of people have different opinions on multi-level marketing, good, bad, whatever, but Facebook doesn't like multi-level marketing. So if what you're saying comes across as that, then Facebook will reject the ad. When you go to repurpose
Yeah.
that live stream, same with any of the other ads policies. If you are touching on a sensitive topic, social and political issues is another one. So if you have moments in your segments of show where you're giving a shout out to a charity that you support or a cause that you support, those can get flagged as well. Yeah, it is very touchy actually. So when you are creating content that you do plan on repurposing for the purpose of ads, you really have to keep it extremely politically correct. Like you just have to,
Yeah.
you can't
Okay.
use negative language.
I want to throw a curveball at you.
Oh
I
no.
didn't, I didn't, no, no, no.
You ready?
Because you're in the zone right now. And,
Okay.
and I want to tap your thoughts on this. So, you know how on Facebook you could do paid online events now?
Yeah.
And you could go live into an event,
Yes.
and that's pretty much the only way you could put paid media behind a live stream, right
Before.
before it goes live. Do you find that if you were going to do any political stuff that you would still be able to run paid media behind that for an event, or would you still be caught up because it's the overarching
the political
guidelines?
the political stuff is a beast of its own,
Okay.
because you have to, if you are going to run any paid media and it is identified that the page that it's running on behalf of is related to politics, you will have had to do the pre-work of submitting your driver's license
Right.
and
Yeah.
being approved in jumping through all those hoops to be able to use that special ads category. You technically could promote that live stream if you did all of that work and you promoted it with the special ads category. You could, it would be fine,
Yeah.
but the content within it would still have to be compliant. But that's a good one.
No, you're good.
That's a
I have
good
another one for you because,
one.
like, now I'm like tapping into your brain. Okay, so we've talked about watch time, jumping into Creator Studio to see like where the drop off is. What type of audiences do you create when you're running Facebook ads for these live streams? I'm like, why did we not even talk about
Oh,
this? Let's talk about that. Go
okay.
for it, girl.
I've got two audiences that I use when I'm repurposing live streams. So I have my warm audiences and I've got my cold audiences. Difference being, cold audiences are people who don't know who the digital gal is. You haven't met me yet. You haven't seen my content yet. Um, so that type of targeting, I'm going to be. I teach Facebook advertising for a living. That's what I do. So I want to reach people who don't know me yet and are most likely to want to do Facebook advertising at some point. So I'll do cold audience targeting with an interest in, or people who are a page admin on a Facebook page. It's one of the targeting options you can go after. So I'll go after a cold audience to circulate that content to reach new faces so they get to know me. And then I also do warm audience targeting, which are people who are on my email list, people who have watched any of my videos for 15 seconds or more, people who have been to my website, people who have engaged with my page, which is a like, a click, a comment, a share, and people who have engaged with my Instagram. So that's a warm audience bucket. So I will take my content and I will repurpose it into an ad, and I will target that ad. I'll basically 2 ads. I'll take that source post and I will retarget it. I'll target it to my cold audience to reach new people, and then retarget to the warm audience of people who already know me. But I go very, how do I say, very, very, very gentle on the warm audience targeting, because you can exhaust that audience very quickly on very little ad spend. So I make sure I change those creatives out quickly, often, and I pay attention to the frequency. So your frequency when you're serving out your ads are the number of people that you've reached and how many impressions they've been served. So if I'm one person and I saw one ad in the Facebook news feed, then I also saw that same ad over on Instagram, and then I saw that ad over in Facebook Marketplace, that's 3 impressions. So that's a frequency of 3. So if I have my warm audience of people and all of a sudden my frequency is climbing over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that frequency is too high. You're exhausting your audience for the purpose of, if you're repurposing live streams, your live streams aren't the holy grail of your content that you want to serve in ads. Your live streams are these additional perks. Yeah, just brand awareness. It's an additional perk just to keep getting it back out in front of your people. But pay attention that you're not exhausting your warm audiences. You take care of those warm audiences. Cold audiences, just let it ride. Go for it. Put yourself out there.
And so, having said that, we do have Anthony, who is here in the show. Yay, Anthony, so good to have you here. He has a question for you, Amanda, and I'll read it for you. He says, does the political ad restrictions count for PAC spending or just direct campaign spends? I don't know if that's your beat, if you know much about that.
Because I don't work on the politics side a lot, I actually don't know how that works within different political parties on how they count their spending.
Yeah. How about this one? This one is from Johnny. And Johnny is asking, hi, Amanda, can you run Facebook ads to promote a private Facebook group where you do live videos? Can you? Yeah.
No. Yes and no. No, not directly. So you can't run an ad directly to a Facebook group URL, but you can run an ad to a landing page, and that landing page can have, hey, why don't you join our Facebook group? Or you can run an ad that acquires a lead form, or has a lead form where you can acquire an email, and then you can send them an email and invite them to your group. There's other ways that you can tuck the group aspect in to the conversation, but you can't just do a direct ad saying, hey, join my group, and a link to the group. You can't do that.
What I've been finding is, did I ever geek out with you about Group Track CRM?
No. Are you holding that on me?
I am. Okay, let's talk about this.
Okay.
So Group Track CRM, it's because, like you get a lot of leads when you're doing your live stream, right? And some people will ask you for follow-ups. And so I'm a big, huge fan of having a social CRM where I like pull people in. So Group Track CRM it's a CRM for Facebook. And so I could go into the Facebook Live comments and be like, oh, Johnny was asking about my Facebook group. So I could go in there and I could send like a direct message, like canned message snippets with this thing. And then it shows me the funnels that this viewer is in. Like, oh, this person has purchased a product, or they've joined Swift, Swift kicking the ads, or they're in, 360 or whatever it is. But I'm building a profile of this person and how I met them through that.
It's really fun. I mean, I'm not building it like that, but using Bob the bot, the messenger marketing chat bot, has been really instrumental in doing that for me, where I can pull somebody up in my messenger marketing chat bot and go, oh, they downloaded my Facebook ads glossary of ad terms. They attended this other webinar. They ordered a sticker from me, so I have their mailing address. I can see the customer journey through the messenger marketing chatbot, which is really fascinating. But I would love to chat more on that tool, because I think that's something that might be interesting for my Swift Kick in the Ads members to be introduced to.
This is what's so fun when you have like other live streamers who are also marketers in our own specific niches, where like, hey, let's swap notes. Because I had Kelly on like 2 weeks ago and she was telling me about missing letter. She told me about conversion.ai. And then apparently everyone that I know in my circle's already using it.
Sorry, and
I
I
was
know you were giving me the gears for not telling you about conversion AI. I'm like, I just learned about it. I just started using it. I'm just trying to I'm trying to see how legitimate, how useful it is before I'm going to everybody and being like, hey, get on this.
Oh, girl, it's been amazing for everything that I'm doing, especially because I am repurposing content and I need like new ideas on how to write the problem, agitate solution, and so on. So it's been very cool. But having said that, you guys, hasn't Amanda been absolutely amazing? She was dropping like knowledge bombs left and right. So if you're planning like a product launch, a course, a membership, a book launch, all the things, right? And live streaming is a part of that overarching marketing strategy. Talk to her, right? Or even if you're just a live streamer, and like I said before, you could still target your ads in specific industries or people and having different roles, right? That's going to be very helpful. Having said that, tell them more about what it is that you do
All right, all
while
right.
other people will drop their questions because it's rolling out.
It's rolling, it's rolling. So I teach Facebook advertising for a living. If you want to learn how to create your own Facebook ads without having to pay huge fees to a consultant to do it for you, because I'll tell you, if I'm going to do your Facebook ads for you, it's going to cost you a good chunk of money, but that's because you're getting them done by somebody who would do your ads the same way that I would handle my own ads. Actually, I do them better than I would do my own ads. I let mine slip and I take care of my clients. But if you don't want to spend big dollars on having outsourcing your ads and you want to bring this in-house and do this for yourself, you're going to want to check out the 4-week Facebook ads bootcamp. I've got the next bootcamp running starting May 4th, so you have lots of time to sign up right now. And I teach you in week 1 how to create ads using Facebook's ads manager. So we're going beyond that boost button. Week 2, I teach you audiences and targeting, how to create all of your audiences and how to do laser focused targeting for your specific business and niche. And then week 3, we get into budgets and strategy. How much money should you be spending on ads and what strategy is going to fit the budget that you actually have to work with? And then week 4, we dig into, all right, so you ran some ads. How did they work? Did they work? What worked? What didn't work? How do we read the reports and how do we optimize our ads going forward? So that's the 4 weeks. 4-week Facebook Ads Bootcamp comes as part of your membership for Swift Kick in the Ads, and that's it's only $49, so it's not much, and you can cancel anytime. So if that's what gets you into the bootcamp, go run over there, click on that, sign up. We kick off on May 4th.
Look at you, rock star. Nailed it. Yeah, absolutely. We've had so many 360 marketing folks where when they ask ad stuff, I'm just like, just ask her. She lives and breathes this stuff. Just ask her, and she'll walk you through the whole entire thing. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any other questions about advertising, Restream, conversion.ai, dude, geek out with us in the comments because we can go on and on because we love live streaming for the engagement that it offers, but we also love the marketing aspects behind it. And again, that's where like our bread and butter is social media marketing and all the things. So having said that, you're amazing. Thank you so much. You're the best.
I'm like, which way do I turn on your screen? Hi.
I don't know. You got to get used to it, right?
You ever get that between, it's like, okay, if I'm on Restream, which way do I turn? If I'm on Zoom, which way do I turn? If I'm
Yeah, it's like, if I'm the host, I look this way. If I'm the guest, I look that way because it's always funny. Here's one last question. What was the name of the CRM? I'm just going to put this in the comments for you. Let me see if I can have it.
the other CRM I want to give a shout out to is Nimble.
Nimble's a good one.
Specifically because of the features of being able to scrape and pull in other people's social data and to be able to find, so you can hover over somebody on Facebook and you can use Nimble to pull in all of their information that you might not otherwise know about them. You can find email addresses that way. You can find all sorts of info and links to all their different sites, what they're associated with. It's pretty neat.
Intuitive. No, for sure. You're totally right. I'm actually going to show this before I let them go. Here, you get a bonus. Here's the bonus. Here's Group Check CRM. So this is what I was telling you. And then I'll walk you through this, Amanda, later. But it's so cool because you could put them into like different groups where they found you in different groups. Or if I'm speaking about certain things in a live stream, I could put them like little snippets, what I want them to do. And so I could go into groups, just all the things. It's so cool. Yeah. This is it. These are all
Oh,
the
man.
features.
If I
Yeah.
if I if I had a budget for all the tools I want to geek out on, this
You know
is
what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, always sign up for the affiliate program because once you fall in love with it, then it just pays for itself. Because if, let's say a program of software that you want to use is like $99 a month, and then the affiliate program is 40% off of if someone signs up, then you really only need X number of people to sign up, and it pays for itself at that point.
I love the
So
Stephanie Lou method.
it's like the couponers where they figure out how to like it's like couponing for affiliates. I don't know, whatever it is. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show so I can geek out with my girl.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
bye everyone.
Bye.